Today, we're going to show you how to assemble our 3,500 pound vertical cable bolt lift. Before getting started, make sure you have all the required tools listed in the assembly manual. Using a utility knife, cut the straps to release the lift components. Make sure you have enough space to work and set up on a flat, level surface. You can lay out the parts roughly where they will be assembled. Start by removing the nuts, bolts, and washer from both corners on one side of the lift. Insert the aluminum tubes. Make sure to properly align the holes. Tighten the bolts securely using your impact driver and wrench. On the other side, remove the nuts and bolts from the remaining two corners before inserting the tubes. This will help you align everything properly. Once the tubes are in place, insert the bolts and tighten them firmly, just like on the other side. To ensure the base is square, with the help of another person, measure the distance between opposite corners, front to back and side to side, and make sure they are all equal. If not, adjust the structure until everything is perfectly aligned. Your lift base is now assembled and square. Feel free to refer back to the assembly manual throughout the process. At each corner of the lift, where the base meets the vertical post, remove the bolts holding the stabilizer. Deploy the stabilizer, insert the bolts into their respective holes, and tighten everything securely with your tools. Repeat this process for all four corners. Make sure both the top and bottom of each stabilizers are firmly tightened. You can raise the lift slightly by extending the legs to make the rest of the installation easier. Now bring over the components that will form the lift bed. Place them roughly where they will be assembled. Make sure the black pulleys on the V-shaped beams are facing inward. Position the corners with the winch cable on the side with the tallest vertical post. This is the winch post. Using your impact driver and a wrench, remove the bolts and nut at each end of the V-shaped beam where the U-shaped bracket are located. Remove the plastic wrap from the cable to give yourself more room to work. Install the aluminum side tubes of the lift bed into the U-shaped bracket. Once properly aligned, reinstall the bolts and nuts and tighten securely. Slide the cable through the aluminum tubes, then attach the cable rings to the bottom of the lift structure. There are pre-drilled holes to secure these rings in place. Repeat these steps for the next corner. Then repeat the same process on the other side of the lift. Make sure all bolts and nuts are tightened securely. We are now ready to attach the cable at the top of the structure. Using a ladder, extend the cable to reach the top of the lift. Remove the nuts from the threaded rod so it can pass through the aluminum frame. Insert the threaded rod at the end of the cable into the hole in the top tube of the structure. Reinstall the washer, first nut, lock washer, and second nut. Final adjustment will be made later. Repeat this process on the remaining corners. One corner will have two cables going through the extrusion. Next, we will install the winch. Since it is heavy, these steps should easily be done with two people. Remove the bolts and nut that will be used to mount the winch. Position the winch properly, then reinstall the bolts and nut to secure it in place. Tighten firmly. To install the cable into the winch, lock the winch in place using locking pliers. This will prevent movement and allow you to tighten the cable properly. Insert the bolt, curved retainer, and nut into the winch drum. This will act as the cable lock. Feed the cable through the drum and secure it into the locking system. Tighten firmly, ensuring the cable is properly positioned and secure. Now let's move on to the lift wheel. Press firmly in the center of the wheel to thread it into the winch shaft. Turn until you hear 3 click. Since the winch is still locked, it will not rotate. After the 3 click, secure the wheel using the bolt, washer, spacer, and spring. Tighten it into the center of the wheel. Do not over tighten, just snug. Then remove the locking pliers and begin winding the cable into the winch, making sure it's spooled evenly. Raise the lift bed approximately 2 feet to help complete the assembly. Using a measuring tape, verify that all 4 corners are evenly aligned. At this stage, you can adjust the cable if needed. If they are too loose, slightly tighten the nuts at the top of the structure. The cable should not be over tight. Test the lift to ensure it raises and lowers smoothly. Additional adjustment might be required once the boat is on the lift during first use. We are now ready to install the bunks and guide. These parts can be found in the box included with the lift. Let's start with the guides. Position the L-shaped bracket at each corner of the lift bed. Use a measuring tape to ensure equal spacing. Using U-bolt, plates, and nuts, secure the bracket in place. Insert the upper guide bracket into the lower ones, but do not tighten yet. Place the vinyl guide rails, L-shape, on the top of the bracket. Use a measuring tape to make sure they are properly centered. Secure them using lag screws, 8 per guide. Repeat on the other side. Next, install the vinyl bunks. Using U-bolts, attach the bunk brackets to the lift bed. The spacing will depend on your boat. If you have your trailer available, you can use it as a reference. Once properly positioned, tighten all nuts securely. Place the bunks on the top of the brackets and center them by measuring front and back. Secure them with lag screws, 2 at the front and 2 at the back per bunk. And that's it. Your 3,500-pound boat lift is now ready to be installed in the water. Have a great season.